Well, I was recommending, so as an Amazon thing, I will tell you a little bit So, first of all, apologize for seeing my or seeing my little guy, so that is that, and that I spend so I will play while I'm talking over my knee, and coming live, letting me understand. If you're watching the replay, let me know you're catching the replay, and know if you absolutely loving it, getting from it. So, this morning, I have the day club, and I had a pretty big sprint sale this week. And so, I want to address something that happens very lot, why I continue with. There's a lot of people that will tell me, oh yeah, it's only a protocol, and it's going well or whatever, or I'm making some changes, but I'm not really doing good shit. So then I was asking, like, what protocol? I don't have a protocol out there. And then they'll share with you that they saw a protocol that was my student shit. And I'm completely happy for my students to share the work for them. I always try and make sure everyone who does share what works for them, and then they share also that this is what works for them. And it's not necessarily the one type of all sharing with you guys will not be, and a lot of people do. So with this protocol that people um, are looking for, right? You have to shift out of this mindset of there is a diet, there is a skill, there is a way, there is a protocol, anything. There is any one way to do it. And there's a serious because one, those things are not always available to everyone. And even when they are available to you, they may not be available to you at. So back to my horrible Starbucks sales story. All right, okay. So, oh, you cannot? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is that better? Let me know if it's better. If not, I'm speaking a little quietly because it isn't music on the front. Okay, hang on, you guys. I'm going to go and grab my headphones. Alrighty. You can tell it's Saturday, huh? So we relax and pretend it a little bit. Alright. Can you hear me better now? Hi, Buffy. Awesome. Can you hear me now, guys? Can you hear me now? Let me know if that's better. If not, I'll restart the live. Fab. Okay. So, quick, let's finish off that story that I was going through before we started, before it got kind of crazy. Basically, what I was saying is I had a Starbucks fail this morning. And hi, Trishy. So, my Starbucks fail came because my baby has turned out to be very intolerant to pasteurized milk. So, whenever I drink pasteurized milk, he has horrible diarrhea and he throws up. And he's smiling the whole time he does it, so I know he's not like in real pain. But obviously, I made that connection and I had to shift. Now, I generally do raw milk. That's kind of what I do. And I'm very thankful that I don't believe that's the only
thing that can help me. So I went to Starbucks today and I ended up getting, I've been trying out, so this week we're out of raw milk. We're out of raw milk. We haven't been to the store to get it. The store that we normally go to has closed down, so we have to go to a different store. And this is why I say, not everybody has access to all things, right? And even if you have access to something, that access can change. So this is why we don't want to rely on anyone's specific protocol, right? Because that's a perfect scenario, and most of us are not in perfect scenarios. Anyway, so I don't have milk in my home. I'm a big milk in hot drinks fan. Guys, I grew up in England till I was 15 or 16. So you will see me drinking hot tea in summer. I promise you. You will never see me drink, if it's like 106 degrees here, which is like I think 40 something, then you'll see me drinking maybe an iced beverage, maybe, but very, very rarely. So my goal was to wake my little butt up this morning because it was been quite a busy week. So I walked to Starbucks, and yesterday I tried oat milk in their, I tried an oat milk latte because the whole milk lattes were giving my baby all kinds of issues. So I tried oat milk yesterday, didn't really like it. It's not great for teeth, has a lot of anti-nutrients and stuff like that. The day before I tried almond milk, and the almond milk made my top lip itch, right? And so today I tried coconut milk. I was like, okay, you know what? Like, this has just been a rough experience. So, good morning, Shanae. So this has been a rough experience, so let me put some sweetener in there. And so I asked them to put raspberry syrup, just 2 pumps in a venti, by the way, because usually if you ever go into a Starbucks, they will put so many pumps of syrup. They will put five. Guys, generally, this is 5 pumps of syrup. And if you get one of those peppermint mochas, they do 5 peppermint pumps and 5 pumps of chocolate. So please be very mindful if you are going into coffee shops how much sweetener they are putting in there. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, I'm drinking it, and I'm like, it's a weird flavor, whatever. I'm drinking it, and then I'm going, ooh, this has a bad aftertaste. I'm drinking, I'm like, this is not tasting good. Sugar-free raspberry syrup, which, as you probably know, sugar-free is not good for you. It's better off to do, some safe sweeteners rather than a sugar-free, because sugar-free is really damaging for your gut and does all kinds of bad stuff. But I did come home and I saved the day. I saved the day with some cacao, and I put in some mushrooms, adaptogenic mushrooms. I put in a little bit of maple syrup. And so if it sounds like a wishy-washy story, it's not. I'm here to tell you this is what we're getting into today. I'm going to be giving you the roadmap to healing your gums, healing your teeth naturally as well, if that's something you need. And I'm really showing you how, life isn't perfect. Like, is Starbucks a healthy beverage? Like, not really. Is it getting me going this day? Yes. Was my walk to Starbucks in the morning, where I got sun on my face and I got human interaction, and I went in there and they know me and they asked about my baby and I saw all kinds of different things, was that beneficial to me? Yes. So I want you to, before we go into this last session, let go of concepts that maybe you believe are that health has to be perfect, that health has to be uncomfortable, that health has to be rigid, that health doesn't get to be fun, right? So just let that go, shake it off. Let me see who's here. Okay, good morning, Tia. I'm glad you made it. Okay, hi, Buffy. Hi, Kayla. Gigi, awesome, you made it. Hi, Lamar. We still need to talk today. I'm getting back to your email ASAP. And Shanae. Okay, so as you probably know, if you're on this call live, I will be sending you all 3 recipes. So thank you for making it. Thank you for showing up. I'm very, very excited to be sharing this with you. Yesterday's recipe was a smoothie recipe, and I'm excited because most people who share their smoothies with me, there's a lot of sugar in the smoothies, and there's not a lot of beneficial aspects. And I have really worked on this smoothie to make it power packed, very low in any plant toxins, and high palatability, so it tastes awesome, and it will do so much good for you, so much good for you. And today's is a tooth strengthening mac and cheese that I made. So I made all of these recipes, and a lot of the recipes I make for my students when they come in, because they ask me, oh, well, like my kid really likes this, or I really like this, or my husband really likes this, but like it's not gum safe, it's not tooth safe. And so I make recipes for you guys that are better than the original. So this is a tooth strengthening mac and cheese. There's no fake cheese in there. There's no fake plant milk. There's no alternative stuff, right? But I'll show you how to make. I've seen like, oh, use carrots, and it's like, no. We are gonna make, this is the best mac and cheese you have ever tasted. Even if you are lactose intolerant, you can do this. So I will be getting that to you guys. Just give me the weekend. I promise by the end of the weekend I'll have it. I'm one lady. I'm looking at bringing my sister on to help me just, get everything streamlined. But for right now, it is just me. Doing this out of a labor of love. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I love about mac and cheese. I didn't even know about it till I came to this country. It's a medium dish for me, but I know it's so easy, well loved, and it actually can be really, really nourishing if you make it correctly. All right, so let's jump in. So today I am going to be giving you the roadmap. I am going to be answering your questions, and then I will be sharing with you what comes next. So day one, we talked all about the lies in the industry, right? How the dental industry really profits when you don't know how to heal yourself. They profit when you don't know how to heal yourself. And I'm not going to say that they're bad people. I really think that many of them don't know. And when they do find out, they don't want to really incorporate it because they have spent so much money becoming dentists, and it is such a lucrative practice. Why would they trade that for something else? Anyway, that's the world that we're living in right now, and that's why I do this work, because I want to disrupt that, right? I want to show people that natural healing is possible, because most people believe in their hearts that natural healing is possible for every single aspect of the body except for the mouth. And so that's where I come in. Didn't think I was going to be doing this 10 years ago, but for me, the need is where it's at. And I love watching people transform their lives, as it transformed my life when I realized I could heal my mouth, and then all the cascading side benefits that happened once I healed my mouth. So for me and for my students, chronic fatigue gone, brain fog gone, belly bloat gone, releasing weight, leaky gut healing, energy, mood, like the list goes on. The list goes on. It's such a wonderful, holistic, natural way to be. So I am so glad that you are here. So day 2, we talked about the 3 secrets, right? So that you're not lazy, like you don't have tooth decay because you're lazy or dirty. We talked about how, someone else's roadmap is not going to get you there. It might get you part of the way, but it will not get you the whole way, because you are not them. You are not them, right? So, and then we talked about, recapping. Yeah, that you don't have to go on a restrictive diet. You do not have to go on a restrictive diet to heal your teeth. Okay? So, what I'm going to be sharing with you now is directly from my 6-week course. My 6-week course is called Heal Your Gums, and I sat down a few years ago and I charted out a way, a framework that would help people get from struggling, confused, overwhelmed, inundated with information that they weren't sure was useful or not, and would get them to clarity within 6 weeks. Clarity around what they need to be putting in their body, what aspects they need to be focusing on to heal, and how to start like that day. And so far I've taken about 60 students through, and I've seen amazing results all within the first 6 weeks when they're implementing, right? Some people get it and then they don't implement it. They're like, I got it and I won't start till next month. Those people, obviously, you don't get the results just by buying the program, but you get the results by taking the steps. And I have 15 years experience in education. So I have learned how to break these giant concepts down into super, super simple and easy to digest, like information. They always say when you're in school, they say, break this down and explain it to me like I'm a third grader. That is so, so important because there's a lot of science behind all this, but like we're not scientists and we're just trying to understand when we go into the store, do we go for apples or do we go for turkey? Or do we go for both? And then when we get them, what do we do with them? Okay, so I'm going to be breaking down each module of my course so that you can know exactly what you need to be focusing on. Okay, so in Module 1, we go into, and you may want to write this down, and if you have the Personal Power Protocol, if you connected with me on the phone earlier this week, you have that Personal Power Protocol, which is the one, hi Miranda, no worries, I'm glad you're here, hi Robin. So if you have the Personal Power Protocol that you got when you spoke with me on the phone, you can start filling these in for yourself. If not, you can write this down. So Module 1 is optimizing oral care. As you recall, I said earlier in the week that optimizing oral care, you have to make sure what you're doing is not harming your teeth. That tooth decay and gum disease is oral care is a small portion of that. But if you are doing the wrong thing, if you are stripping your mouth of its natural oral microbiome, if you are going too hard, you can be damaging your gums, you can be damaging your teeth, right? You can be overloading your system with fluoride. So most people have fluoride in their showers, in their drinking water. You don't need to be also putting it in your mouth. You can be so easily overloaded. Snacks. Hi. I have a geriatric wiener dog who's just like wandering around. It's like he doesn't know where he is anymore, poor guy. He might come in a little bit. So the second part of Module 1 is called Heal Your Home. So you remember I talked about yesterday, one of the 5 aspects is environmental aspects of healing. So you need to look around your home and you need to figure out if your home is a healthy place. So that when you're sleeping, when you're relaxing, are you regenerating? Or is there a toxic load on your home? And this can come from, unfortunately, so many places because we are very out of alignment with nature. Is it hindering your ability to heal? Then, sorry, 1 second. Snacks, come here, come here, come on, come here, come on, Snacks, come here. Little tip-tappy toes are kind of distracting me. Come here, Come on. Come on. Oh, so this is my original baby. You got to meet my other baby the other day, and some of you have been on multiple lives with me and really gotten to meet my baby. But this is my original guy. By the way, I've applied a lot of this to him and helped him with gums as he's getting older, and it does absolutely cross over to animals as well. Hi, Bubs. He's 14 years old. This is like his last year on this earth. It's so sad. But we had a good time. Okay. So let me get back to it. Thank you for letting me veer off and share a little bit. So, by the way, studies do say that if you have an animal in your house, they bring you a lot of like joy and love, and I believe that translates to healing. So I just love how it's all connected, and the happier you can make your life, the easier it becomes to heal. So, part 3 of Module 1 is the diet in your DNA. So, this is, you're getting the scoop and the science of the history on the natural healing power of the diet, right? What does that mean for you? If you are trying to reverse engineer your health and understand what works for you, then you look into your ancestry. You look to the diet in your DNA. Now, I'm not saying go and eat literally exactly what your ancestors did, but start to look there, right? So that's a really, really easy guiding star. Did my ancestors eat this stuff? How did they eat? How did they live, right? Again, I'm not saying you have to go back, like, if you had Gaelic ancestors who, only ate like oats and groats and fish brains, that you have to do that. But that's where we start to look at it, the diet in the DNA, that success leaves clues, and successful, healthy humans, they ate a certain way, they lived a certain way, and we are so out of alignment with this. So Module 2, the first section is prepping your kitchen for maximum healing. So most of you are having kitchens that are not optimized, and I know this because I go into people's homes and I see, fridges packed tight, and things are not organized to where you can cook and where you can see things. A lot of food gets spoiled. Let me know if you have food that gets spoiled in your house, if you have veggies that go in that crisper drawer and you never see them again until they come out withered and sad. Or, maybe you have family, littles or husbands that open the fridge and eat all of one thing and ignore everything else, and stuff gets thrown out, and maybe you buy some food, maybe you try buying some foods that are different, but you don't know how to cook them, so they end up in your freezer forever or in the back of the fridge, and they have to get tossed. So we have to really think about prepping that kitchen for maximum healing, so that when you walk in, it's like, oh, done. Because, let me know if you're busy, because I am so busy. Hi, Robin. So let me know if you're busy. If you're busy, as most people are, you are going to need a really, really tight system so that cooking is effortless, right? I actually don't cook anymore right now. My boyfriend does all the cooking. I don't know if you guys see my stories, but I've set up the kitchen so everything is effortless for him. So he wants to cook. He loves to cook. He knows where everything is. I've let him move things around as well so that he is comfortable in my kitchen, because he was not cooking. Bree, you made it. You're not in Facebook jail. I'm so impressed. Or at least you can watch in the group, so that's good. So set that up. Set your kitchen up. Next, optimizing water. Guys, I cannot explain how important this is. And by the way, I learned all of this by working with people, because I started out with a core program. As I started working with people, I started seeing a few other aspects, and I started really building out this course. So in the beginning, I focused primarily on nutrition. Now I focus on the other aspects just as much. They are just as important. So we had to change our water because, again, my favorite grocery store closed down. We had to change our water, and I was so dehydrated for like a week. And I couldn't drink enough water. It was crazy. If you've seen me this week on the lives drinking water like the happiest girl in the world, it's because I had the wrong water for what I needed for a while. And I started to notice it and how I felt, my energy, my lips were the biggest sign, chapped lips. Chapstick doesn't do anything for you when you are dehydrated, right? So optimizing oral care is a section in my program where we really go in. It's a quick, short module, but it sets you up for how much water should I be drinking, how do I make sure I'm drinking it, do I need to add anything to it, and is the water I was drinking, was it adding to my problems, or was it solving them, right? And for most people, unfortunately, it's either neutral or it's doing damage if they are drinking any water at all. Most people are surprised by how much water they need to be drinking. Not necessarily they need to be drinking more, they just are off on how much water they should be drinking. So then section 3 of module 2 is detecting deficiencies. And this is where the personal comes in again. Each one of you on watching this live, including myself, have different levels of deficiencies, right? I am breastfeeding right now. I am burning through so much nutrition, and I have a high mineral need compared to previous times. Each one of you is on this call because you have a deficiency or deficiencies in certain areas. And so we need to really identify what those deficiencies are. A lot of people tell me like, oh, well, can you recommend a panel? If you would like to go and take a panel to get your levels read, that is totally fine. I have never done that. I teach and I go by the body's cues. The body leaves clues, and what's going on with your mouth is your body is screaming at you to give it what it needs. So once we learn to translate what the messages of the body, then we can start to give it what we need. And another thing is, those panels are expensive. They're not always accurate. When I say they're not accurate, I mean, the Western medical system is not yet perfect. It's very profit driven, and even the recommended daily amounts are lower than what we might need. So they may say you need this amount of sun or this amount of vitamin D every day, right? So people start taking X amount of 1,000 IUE of vitamin D every day. What they were not told by their doctors is that the synthetic forms of vitamin D are usually not safe. Too high a dose can cause issues. You can get vitamin D from food, and you can get vitamin D for sun. You are going to have different needs depending on where you live. According to the equator, higher or lower, you need less or more vitamin D. Your skin color, your ancestry, and how much vitamin D you've had in the past, right? So they're not going to tell you all this. They're just going to go in, test and tell you how much you need to take. And this is how people can get in trouble and be really broke, and still not be healed, right? That's the worst, when people spend a lot of money on healing and they're still not healed. And then they're out of money, and then they feel like, I just don't have enough money. I have a student who came and she had she'd spent $45,000 to go to India and heal herself, and she wasn't healed, you know. So we started working on her because it was more simple things that needed to be done than crazy tests. You can go and put your money anywhere. People will take your money and do insane amounts of tests on you and not necessarily guarantee you results. So we have to be mindful of that, and we need to create an inner understanding and an inner knowing so that we can heal ourselves, right? When we rely on someone else to tell us how we should heal ourselves, we cheat ourselves out of the ability to be our greatest healer, and nobody can heal us like we can, right? We're taught to think that someone else should do that for us, but especially as women, we need to get connected to our own inner knowing, because nobody knows what we're going through and nobody knows what feels good except us. Okay, so we move into module 3. Module 3 is all about foundational foods, right? Foundational foods are just the foods that are that you're eating every day. And we need to understand how to make the foods that we're eating every day safe, healthy, nourishing, right? Without compromising on taste, without compromising on cost, without compromising on just quality of life, right? So I want you to let go of the idea that this has to be expensive, that food is going to cost you a lot of money, and I want you to open up to the idea that if you do spend more on food, you will actually need to eat less because you will be more nourished. And this is something that I get from my students a lot. They tell me, good morning, Jessica. They tell me, I switched over to this, and now I need to eat less food. I'm blown away, right? Because another thing is I teach how to eat, and we have to focus on how we're eating. Because most people are just, the food goes in really fast, and they're not focused, they're not present. It's understandable, we're all busy. And they eat extra, they go crazy, they don't allow the natural biological processes of satisfaction and fullness to naturally occur, right? So they eat a bunch of food, they're stuffed, now they're tired, then they need a pick-me-up, because not only do they eat too fast, maybe they're eating the wrong foods for their body type, right? So, Jamie, I am extra hungry also from, breastfeeding like a savage. All right. So, module 3, continued, is herbs and spices, teas, and tinctures for healing. Herbs and spices, teas, and tinctures for healing. This is so wonderful, you guys. As you'll all be receiving, for being live on this call, you'll all be receiving my Spice Girl drink mix and drink elixir healing gum tooth drink. And with that, you'll start to see and feel how herbs and spices can really do amazing things for the body. Now, I meet a lot of people who believe it's just herbs. It's not. It's all aspects of nutrition. But these herbs and spices will do so much benefit for not just your teeth, but your mood, your blood, your vitality, everything. Like, honestly, until I put the cacao and the mushrooms into my drink, I was so disgusted by it. So, final section of module 3 is crush your sugar cravings. Let me know who has sugar cravings. Let me know if you have sugar cravings. I was a barista too, so I can make some mean drinks. So let me know if you have sugar cravings, guys, because I was totally guilty of having sugar cravings until I learned how to feed myself to heal my teeth. And then as I got my needs met, my real deep needs met, my sugar cravings disappeared. So now I can enjoy sugar in moderation, as a treat every now and then. And if you told me 10 years ago that was the case, I would not have believed you. I would not have believed you. I had a student who, this girl is so awesome. She started, and she told me 3 weeks in, she was like, I was eating a tub of frosting every 3 days. She said, I was just going into the kitchen and going into the fridge and opening it and eating it. She's like, now I haven't even thought about sweets in 3 days. I haven't even thought about sugar in 3 days. And to me, that is such a phenomenal way. That is such a phenomenal way of being, because we don't have willpower, guys. We don't. You can have a certain amount, but it's so exhausting. And there's a reason. It gets exhausted every day, and that's why at nighttime we give into our cravings, because you're going through, you have willpower, you're going through your whole day, and then you're tired at the end of the night, and it's like the willpower is gone, the need, right? The real need. And Gigi, I hear you saying that you crave potato chips. That's totally normal as well. Buffy says soft drinks, chocolate at night. All of these things, all of your cravings are revealing what you are deficient in. They are all revealing what you are deficient in. And once you give yourself what you really need, you will be able to enjoy those treats as treats and not crave them. So I want you to understand that for yourself, that gift, that your cravings are really teaching you, they're showing you what you really need. I had that in pregnancy. The cravings were for chocolate came back, sugar came back, and it took me a while to figure out what it was, but it was magnesium. I was burning through magnesium as a pregnant woman, and when I gave myself, I chose some concentrate mineral drops. My cravings halved in about 2 days. So it's fast, right? It's not a slow process when we're really meeting our needs. So module 4, we've got to learn to make grains, nuts, and vegetables safe. We've got to learn to make grains, nuts, and vegetables safe. So this might come as a surprise to you. You might be like, what? Grains, nuts, and vegetables are not safe? They sometimes, and very often how they're prepared in our cultures, they are not. They're not safe, unfortunately. They have a lot of plant toxins. They have a lot of anti-nutrients in them. And so this is not a big thing. This is not, oh God, now I have to make my grains, nuts, and vegetables safe. This is just knowing how to pick, how to source, so where we're getting them from, how to select which ones we're picking, and how to properly prepare our foods. So once we know, we just do it. So, for example, a lot of people don't realize. So, okay, fermenting and sprouting can be, yeah, Tia, and it really, and that's the amazing thing. Is like it depends, right? So it depends on all of these things. So a lot of people believe that spinach is wonderful, right? That spinach and kale are wonderful. Let me know if you're a spinach or a kale girl, because I was, and then I found something out. I found out that raw spinach and raw kale can be very hard on our digestion, especially if you have impaired digestion. Now that's something we address, right? You have to address your digestion, but still, there are anti-nutrients in spinach and there are anti-nutrients in kale that need to be cooked. Like they need to be cooked to be more like easy to assimilate. And there's things that there's I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to like overwhelm you in this moment because we're just going through all the modules, but most food needs to be eaten in combination with something else. So for example, if I was going to eat kale, I would cook it, and I would cook it with butter, and I would combine it with maybe some meat and maybe some grains, right? And that's a combination that both works for my body as the type of person that I am, and then it also minimizes anti-nutrients, and it maximizes my ability to assimilate those nutrients and really get the benefits. Because a lot of times, if we're not focusing on making plant foods safe, they are blocking mineral absorption from they're blocking the ability to absorb nutrients, right? So awesome. So you guys are going to see in the recipe from day 2, the smoothie, there is frozen spinach. And the reason I use frozen spinach, not fresh spinach, is one, because we all know what happens with spinach. It sits in the fridge forever, and then it like wilts and it gets gross and you have to throw it out and you're so sad. 2, because hey, we all know that spinach, this much spinach, fresh spinach, turns into this much cooked spinach. So that's annoying as well. It takes a lot of, fresh spinach takes up a lot of space in your fridge, but also the most important part is that frozen spinach has usually been blanched, right? And that cuts down on the plant anti-nutrients. So if you guys are understanding how what I'm saying is that it's more complex than we've been led to believe, but once you understand it, it becomes like, oh yeah, I just pick frozen spinach. I pick frozen organic spinach. Fits in my freezer nicely. You know, I go through it when I go through it, and I don't have to worry about it going bad. So, all right. So, Module 2, Section 2, meats and seafood. A lot of people do not understand how much, exactly how much they should be eating, what type they should be eating. There's a lot of myths, unfortunately, around what kind of meats are bad and what kind of meats are good. And we really drill in this module what your meat is, what the meats for you are, right? And that can change, because a lot of people, they start to find that as they heal their digestion, they can eat heavier meats that they couldn't eat before. And they realize then that the meat was not the problem, their digestion was the problem, right? And we really go into, you know, how to pick the best quality meat that is still budget friendly, right? This is not going to work if like everyone has to be like super rich to afford this. This is regular food, guys. This is regular food. You don't have to live next to a Whole Foods to get this. Probably not, Tia, sorry. I mean, if you're munching on kale while in the garden, I don't know, I can't see your face, I don't know if you're joking or not, but you know, it's a little here and there is probably not going to hurt you. But if you are healing, if you're really working on healing, I would leave the raw kale, I would leave the raw spinach until you are healed and you can really get the most benefits out of everything. All right. Module 5, fermented foods, sacred foods, and offal. Fermented foods, sacred foods, and offal. So a lot of people do not know about fermented foods. I'm not going to go into that. That's something, you know, that's something that you can look up if you don't know it. Sacred foods are foods that our ancestors held as sacred, that we have very, very little of in our culture today, if you're in like a Western culture. But it's around, it's available. And offal. Offal is organ meats. So a lot of people have a really hard time with organ meats. I always say you don't need them to heal, but you should learn and you should know and you should give them a try. And there's all kinds of ways to incorporate organ meats into your life in a way that is enjoyable or just neutral. I love organ meats. I hated them in the beginning. When I started down this path, I was vegan, and I I tried and I felt so disgusted, and then it took me some time and I retried and I worked it out. And that's what I share in my other recipes, like how to enjoy these things, right? Because there's a reason that our ancestors ate them. In most countries outside of Western countries, people are doing organ meats and they're loving them. So most people in my classes, they will try organ meats and they will find something that they like, and some people are just like, it's a no from them, and that's fine. Okay, the last part of module 5, emotional aspects of healing. I talked to you about this week, right? Really, if you have emotional needs that are not being met and healing that needs to be done, you need to address that. You need to go into that. You need to make that a priority. Module 6, last module, is partnering with dental professionals you trust. So learning how to find a dentist that you trust, and then learning how to partner with them. So not being punished, right? Not going in and being like, oh, I didn't do this, therefore now I have to pay all this money and go through pain and this and that. You are going to be partnering with them, and you're going to on your teeth and your oral health. Some of my students are just like, I don't ever want to go to the dentist again. I totally understand that, right? Like, it's not a wholly necessary thing, but it's also not all or nothing. You can go and you can get help from them, but we don't want you to go in there and have them quote you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $24,000 like they quoted me, $60,000 like they quote some people. We don't want them to do that just because they need money and just because they think you are an easy target, right? All right. So, finally, how to eat. So, you've got to learn how to eat at restaurants, while traveling, on a budget, or during holidays, right? If you don't know how to do this, then it becomes very, very hard to stay healthy, right? If it's like, oh, I eat super well at my home, but then when I go out, I just, we're out, so I'm just going to eat whatever. No, you want to be able to sit down and look at a menu and be like, ooh, I'm going to choose this, and not only is it going to be supporting my gum health or my tooth health or my overall health, it's also super tasty. By the way, you guys, follow my stories. I share a lot of my meals. My boyfriend loves to eat out at restaurants, so I eat out at restaurants with him, and I have learned and I have taught him how to go to places and how to pick amazing. So like for me, I'm a big oysters girl, and I'm always on the hunt for like budget oysters or like dollar oysters, $2 oysters, or sometimes we'll just treat ourselves and we'll go for oysters no matter what the price. And it's just such a wonderful, nourishing, tooth and gum healing food, and most people don't know that. And a lot of people don't like oysters, but there's different ways to prepare oysters, right? So it kind of a lot comes down to that. And then finally, putting it all together, your personal power protocol. That's the last part of the last module. Like I said, if you spoke with me this week, you got the personal power protocol, so you know how to put that together. And I still do have some spaces to talk to you if you want to get that together and you want that document. So we are at the end of our 3 days, and I will be doing the Q&A in just a moment. But I want to wrap there. That is the roadmap to healing your teeth. That is a roadmap to healing your gums, is getting all of those things under control. It's getting a clear concept of what you need to be doing in each area. Notice I did not say supplements, right? Notice I did not say, I did not mention what nutrients you need. Because when you address all of those, the nutrients come naturally. When you are eating a varied diet, all the nutrients that you need will be there, because you will also start to be eating intuitively, right? You will know when you want more of something. For example, my boyfriend did not know that sauerkraut is a tooth and gum healing superfood, and he has just been going ham on my sauerkraut. And I love that for him. And I told him the other day, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know it was healthy. I just knew I loved it." So he tapped in to this is good and got this is good for me, right? And so you don't need to worry about vitamin A, vitamin D, cod liver oil, this, that, and the other. You just need to get in alignment. You need to get in alignment. So you have two options now. You have two options now. You can continue. You can take the information from this 3-day program and you can figure it out on your own. Now, I believe in you. You can probably get there on your own. Absolutely. It will take longer, right? It will take longer because there is a lot of information to glean out there. But you can do it. You can keep Googling, you can go to the groups, you can kind of try to put it together yourself, and that's fine. The other option is you can come and join me and my wonderful group of women, and I think we've got about 3 men in there who are lovely too. Hi Amy, good to see you. And you can come and join us, and in 6 weeks you can have this hammered out and you can feel confident in oh, I'm sorry it took you so long. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. You can have this hammered out and you can have this locked in for yourself, right? So how I support my students in doing this is that you have an online course portion. So when you sign up with me, you get access to the course. It's a 6-week course. You can go at your own pace, but you have lifetime access to it. And then you have a group that you go into. There's a private Facebook group of women very similar to you, because I know pretty much everyone in this group is holistic, natural minded, a little bit rebellious. I love that about you guys. And fun, right? And helpful, wonderful people. So in there, I post almost every day. I post little updates. I share recipes. I share ideas. And then twice a month, I go live. Like this, we do Q&A, face-to-face. And you can get your questions answered in there daily via message, or you can get your questions answered like this from me on the lives. And I do a training once a month. In there. And the next training coming up is actually how to eat during postpartum, pregnancy and postpartum, so that you can save your gums and save your teeth. So that's the training that's coming up for this month. If you join us this month, you will have access to that. So that's 1 month at a time. That's only for this coming group of people who are going to get it. So if you are pregnant, going to be pregnant, or have been pregnant and are doing postpartum, having any issues postpartum, that's a really, really, really good training for you. So in this group, I also give you a ton of bonuses. So for being here today, you're getting the 3 recipes. I have a recipe book. I think there's about 20 recipes in there and counting. So I also have a cooking class in there. So you're going to be learning with me how to cook. And usually my baby is in there helping me. Sometimes my boyfriend. And I will say it's not much more professional than this. It just is me on camera showing you how I cook. And I will say I'm not a great cook. So you will laugh. I am no Martha Stewart. But my food is tasty because I have learned little tips and tricks here and there how to make it quick, easy, and tasty. So what else do we have in there? I have, so we've got trainings, we've got recipes, we've got the classes, and then we've got shopping lists. So I have shopping lists that will make it really easy to figure out where, like what the dairy if you're doing dairy, what the eggs if you're doing eggs. Now, these are for America, but I can absolutely help you if you are the outside of America. I have a lot of my students Australia, I got a couple in Russia, I've got New Zealand, and a couple in Europe, and they are always checking in with me. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about between these two? And I guide them until they can guide themselves on selecting, because a lot of times we go into the supermarket and there's like 15 different options and we don't know which one to choose, right? And that's where I come in. You learn with me, but I'm also there to answer those questions. Like, I had a student literally take me around the supermarket with her and help her pick when she was first getting started. So let's see. So I'm going to wrap there, and then I'm going to be answering now your questions. So I want you to drop your questions for me, and I will be answering the questions that came through. And let's see, what else do I need to do? Oh, yes. Okay. So I need to give you the fast action bonus. Right? So for those of you who are on this call today, if you sign up either on this call or within 24 hours, I will be giving you a bonus call with me, a one-to-one call with me at the end of your 6 weeks to really go deep on your personal power protocol. So you go through the class, you fill out the personal power protocol, and then you sit down with me and I help you nail in the finer details of what needs to be done, right? That's a one-to-one. You could get that done with me in the group, but this is a one-to-one time with me that's generally about an hour, and the value of that is $160. So I highly recommend, if you have questions and you want really my expert guidance on that, get in with me in the next 24 hours. And I don't know how I'm going to share the link with you. I'm going to share the link with you guys right after this, okay? So I'm going to share the link with you right after this, and I am going to go into the questions. So Janie had told me, had asked me if she had to give up chocolate. I'm here to tell you, no, you don't need to give up chocolate. Chocolate actually can be a wonderful mineral in your oral health healing journey that you can combine with other things to get all the nutrition in that you need. So Janie, my first day recipe has cacao as a base, and it is full of nutrients. What I recommend to my students when they are craving chocolate is go and have that. Like, that literally fulfills all. It's honestly, it's more fulfilling than chocolate. Okay. And Jolie asks, do you talk about how to prepare teeth so you don't need braces? Yes. So that's in the physiological aspect of healing. So if you have, so I do have another program. It's called Heal Your Teeth. And that is specifically on teeth. And so if you have children that you need to focus on, like cavities and braces and like how the mouth develops, that's a great course for that. If you, I do go over that in Heal Your Gums, but if you have specifically need for teeth, then I would go for that one. And there is, I'll be sending that to you, Lamar. I'll be sending you the recipe. So I do have a package for that, and I just realized I have to tell you the price. You guys, my brain today. So I have to tell you the price. So right now, the course Heal Your Gums is $597, but I have for the first 10 people, I have $100 off. So I have the price is $597, or I believe it's 3 payments of 2 something. And if you are the first 10 people that use the code FIRST10, all one word, in the checkout, they get $100 off. So that becomes $497, and then I believe that's like three. It's split into 3 payments, so it's a little bit cheaper if you pay all up front, but there is a payment plan that is spread out across 3 months. So I mean, that's something we would have to chat about one-to-one. So let me connect with you after that. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, so I've priced it at a place where I know that, you know, it's affordable, especially compared to dental work, right? Dental work often is unnecessary, unfortunately, and could be healed naturally. And so, you know, I have someone that just joined me, and she was like, $500 compared to the $5,000 that they are quoting me, and they're not going to be healing me. Like, that is phenomenal. So how about making space for sideways wisdom teeth? Okay, the clear teeth course. Okay, so yes, Jamie, this course will help with making space for teeth. Obviously, when you are younger, it's easier to get a widened jaw, but there are things that you can do in the physiological aspects of healing. And actually, I realized I didn't talk about that. Physiological aspects of healing is something I added more recently, so it is in there. How we're sleeping, how we're breathing, how we're chewing, all affect our jaw. And that's why over time, people can go from strong jaw to a weak jaw. And people can go from a weak jaw now to a strong jaw. And that's not seen as much, but that's a much newer idea that has come into the public awareness, and people are starting to get amazing results by changing how they chew, changing how they sleep, changing how they breathe. By the way, if anyone would like to come onto camera now and ask me questions, I will totally do that. And I am totally happy to do that. All right. So, and if they're sideways, if they're impacted, I would recommend getting connected with a really great holistic dentist and checking in with them on that. If they're impacted and they've grown in funny, funky, it might have to be like a removal, but you would want to work with them because each situation is going to be different, right? So unfortunately, Tia, the shopping list just come with the course, and the reason for that is because it like I don't part out any of my course because it's a full system, and I know if we start to pull certain parts out, then you end up with deficiencies, or you end up focusing on things that aren't right for you. So you really need to know exactly what you need to understand, the whole system, in order to like pick. So the shopping list support the course. I wouldn't recommend just the shopping list, but I do have a few recommendations on my website, fuelyourdreams.us. That's actually where you can go and buy my course. fuelyourdreams.us. fuelyourdreams.us is where you can go and purchase my course. If you can't find it, just DM me. I will send that to you. And remember that, you know, if you buy within 24 hours, you get a bonus call with me. If you purchase this month, you get the healing teeth and gums in pregnancy and postpartum, and that's going to be like an hour-long workshop where I really break down like exactly what you need to be doing, because obviously I just went through it myself. I had some cavities that popped up, I had some cavities that disappeared, I had some cavities that popped up in breastfeeding, and now I'm working on getting rid of the last one. So let's see. What are soft drink cravings a deficiency of? They can be so many things, Buffy. They can be, water. They can be need for fermented foods. They can be need for protein. They can be need for, energy and excitement. It kind of depends on decoding your own needs, right? So that's just a kind of a short answer to that. Do I believe in the blood type diet? Yes and no. I think that the blood type diet is probably a useful diet to look into, to be aware of, to know. I think I'm O positive. But again, the true truth is in here. So you can take all I encourage you to take all the information out there but then really tell me what is true for you. So I have had students who have said, I've always hated broccoli, or I have just always hated potato, and then they go and they get their blood samples analyzed, and they find out that they are slightly allergic to potato, or they're slightly allergic to broccoli. And it's like, see, you knew, you didn't vomit from them, but you knew that you were, and you followed that, and you didn't need someone else to tell you. So it can't hurt to learn these things, but I wouldn't fall again in line into, I must follow this thing to the letter. I think it's helpful. Whatever resonates with you, let it go, let it in, incorporate it, right? And just like with what I'm teaching, I teach a framework of how to understand yourself, right? Of how to create your own personal power protocol, your own personal menu, right? Okay. Oh, and Olivia, I see that you just joined, so welcome. I am super, super happy to have you. Yep. And I will schedule that, we'll get that bonus call scheduled for you. So, all right, folks, if we don't have any more questions, I will wrap for today. That is our final day. I have loved the 3 days. I want to just say a big, 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 big thank you to you all for showing up with the energy and really making it as fun for me as I hope it was for you. So I will be reaching out to you folks to get you those recipes, get you any questions answered, and anybody who's ready to join us this month, then I will be getting you. I'll be getting you there. So, Amy, if you love avocado and you're not seeing any negative benefits, enjoy your damn avocado. Life is short, and dang it, if someone told me I couldn't eat avocado, I'd probably be eating more just to spite them. All right, folks, I had a fabulous time with you. I will connect with